Hello, Facebook. We are live. I'm just going to wait for a few people to join because it's always that awkward moment when you start a live and no one's here watching you and you're just sort of talking to yourself. So I'm just going to give it a moment and wait for a few of you to join. If you are joining, can you just stick us a thumbs up or give us a wave or something in the comments so I know that people can hear me, because there's been lots of times. Hello, Gabby Johnson. Thank you for the wave. Can you hear me, though? That's all what I need to know. Just need to know. That's all I need to know. Can you hear me? Because there's been so many times I've done lives like this and I've been waffling away and no one can hear me. And I'm such a Luddite when it comes to stuff like this. Hello, Bosley, Bodie Clark. Hey, Tracy Morgan, how are you? Lovely to see you here. Tracy is the author of Cinnamon the Capybara, the wonderful children's book that I got to illustrate last year. So if you haven't seen that, go and check it out because it's amazing. So yeah, everyone can hear me as well, so that's good. Fancy seeing you all here. Isn't this wonderful? It's almost as if I told you it was happening. So yeah, hey, nice to see you all. Hey, Wendy French. Hello, Amy and Matt. Thanks for letting me know that all is good. Have you all had a lovely Thursday? Hopefully you have. I have had a really busy Thursday and I'm actually really super busy at the moment because hopefully you've all seen the news. If you haven't seen the news of my Hercule Hits the Road, my big 2025 Street Vet Tour, let's kick off with that. We've got 100 people on the live already, so I reckon that's enough people to just start, you know, like let's just start. So yeah, it's been about 3 or 4 months in the planning, this Street Vet fundraising tour. So the idea originally came back in around about October, November last year. And we've been planning it for the last 4 months, and it's been so much work. And I'm kind of at that point now where I just want to get going with it. Like, I just want to get going with it. I want to get out there. But if you're not aware, if you haven't seen the Facebook post, which I know loads of you actually haven't, because Facebook is so crap at restricting the reach of posts when it thinks it's promoting something. So what we're doing is, on the 14th of June, I am going to be out on the road, and we are travelling all over the UK over a period of 8 days. We are visiting every Street Vet outreach location in the UK. And not only that, but when I get to each location, I am going to be doing a fundraising challenge at each location. And the fundraising challenges have been set for me by the individual Street Vet teams. So we're going to be visiting, I think it's 15 different locations, travelling around about 1,800 miles and completing 16 different challenges over the course of 8 days. And all of this is to raise money for Street Vet, who of course are one of the main charities that I support with my pet portrait project. I don't know what all of the fundraising challenges are, which has actually added to the workload, because trying to work on itineraries and schedules and stuff when you don't know everything that's going on has been difficult. But some of the stuff that I do know I'm going to be doing, they are going to be throwing me out of a plane from 10,000 feet. So yeah, that's not great because I don't like heights. Thankfully, they are going to give me a parachute and a fully trained expert to strap myself to. So like, it's going to be okay, I hope. But I'm not looking forward to that. I've got to abseil down the Spinnaker Tower in Portsmouth. So I think that's something like 5 million feet or something ridiculous. Again, don't like heights, not looking forward to that. And then there's other things, some fun stuff as well. So when we get to Glasgow, we go north of the border. When we get to Glasgow, we are learning the bagpipes. I've got to learn the bagpipes in Glasgow. I say learn the bagpipes. It's a 2-hour lesson, and like learning makes it sound like I'm going to conquer it. I'm not going to be able to conquer the bagpipes in 2 hours, but hopefully I might be able to play something of a tune. So 16 challenges over the course of 8 days in 15 different locations, getting out there, meeting the Street Vet teams, telling you guys a little bit more about it, and as I say, trying to raise some money as well. if you haven't seen the post, please go and check it out on my page. When this live ends, go to my page, go and check out that post. There's links there to donate. Not only that, anybody who donates before I think it's the 8th of June, but don't quote me on that, it's in the post. But anybody that donates before the 8th of June will go into a draw to have their pet portrait drawn over those 8 days. Because not only am I going to be travelling all around the country, not only am I going to be doing all these fundraising challenges, I'm also going to still continue to draw a portrait every day. And those 8 portraits are going to be chosen from anybody who donates to this specific fundraiser. So far, we have had about 200 donations. That was at the last time I was updated on it. We've had about 200 donations. So at the moment, those 200 people have a 1 in 25 chance of getting their portrait drawn, which is a way better chance than a 1 in 80,000 in the inbox. So if that's not an incentive to just go and donate a couple of quid, that'd be brilliant. If you want some further incentive, this is how simple the maths are on it. I only need less than 2% of the people who follow me to donate £2, and we would hit our fundraising target for this challenge, which is £35,000. I'm not going to say just £2 because I know £2 is a lot of money for some people, but it is just 2% of the people that follow me. So 2%, donate £2 and we'd hit the target. So as I say, if you just need a further incentive, you could also be in with winning a pet portrait. So that's the news out the way. Sorry for kind of like ramming that down your throat, but hey, it's why I do all this, right? I draw these pet portraits to raise money for these amazing charities, and also to have a little bit of fun, hopefully to share a few smiles along the way. But let's get into it, right? Because you guys haven't tuned in to listen to me rambling on. You want to see me drawing something, right? You want to pick up some tips. You want to know how you could perhaps sort of master your own ultra realistic pet portrait. So should we get into doing some drawing? If you want an idea, right, as to what my Facebook inbox looks like, some people don't believe me, I think, when I say I've got over 80,000 requests for portraits, but I put this post up yesterday, less than 24 hours ago, to say that I would pick a picture from the comment section of the post I put on yesterday. And in less than 24 hours, we've had 2,500 people have submitted a photo in the comment section of that post. So I've also spent quite a lot of time this afternoon or over the course of the last couple of hours while I've been making tea and that. Pasta bake, if you're wondering. Very nice. Yeah, I've also spent some time looking through those, and I've chosen a pet portrait to draw. Somebody just said, where's the link to donate? It's in a post that's on my page. So say when this live has finished, just go check out the page and you'll find all the links and everything about it. There's a whole website set up and everything else. So right, so yeah, anyway, look, I'm waffling on. I've chosen a picture, right? Should we just get on and draw it? Yeah, because that's going to be better. When I turn the camera around, I'm not going to be able to see your comments. When I've finished, I'll turn the camera back around. You can look at my ugly mug and we'll do a bit of a Q&A if you're interested. So maybe think about any questions that you might have. I'll try and answer as many as I can. I'm always an open book. I try to be as honest as I can with you. But if you've got any questions, just wait until I've turned the camera back around, because if you're sticking questions up while I'm drawing, I'm not going to be able to see your questions. Claire Addis has just said, oh my God, I had a pasta bake for tea as well. Well, it's Thursday night, isn't it? Using everything up, you know, getting ready. Clear the fridge out on a Thursday and it gives you an excuse for a takeaway on a Friday. That's what I always say. So look, stop talking about pasta bakes, Hercule. We're here to learn some art techniques. Turn the camera around and let's do some drawing. Right. This is going to be where I probably like balls up and I'll turn the camera off rather than turning it around. If that happens, come back in about 30 seconds and I'll go live again. But here we go. I'll try and turn you around. Right, let's have a look. See if we can do this. Oh, that's the ceiling. Right, here we go. Right, here we go. Right, can everybody stick a thumbs up if you can A, see that, and B, still hear me? Because those are the two things that normally go wrong when I do this. Okay, I think we can see some thumbs up that you can hear me and you can see the page. So Right, let's get into it, shall we? I'm going to do a big reveal on 3, 2, 1, and this is what we're going to be drawing. I reckon you probably can all... I've probably got really loud because I'm mindful I've just got really close to the microphone on my phone, so I'll try and whisper for this bit because otherwise it might be really annoying for you. But basically, I reckon you can probably all guess why I've chosen this portrait, because it's practically a Hercule portrait, isn't it? Like already, like before I've even started doing anything. It was so much fun actually being able to choose what portrait I was going to draw, because it's always a lottery. So when I choose portraits out of the inbox, it's always a lottery. I never know what I'm drawing until I've already picked it. And so it was actually really nice to kind of actually choose something and look at something and go, do you know what? I can do something with that and this is going to be fun. I don't know who this dog belongs to because I forgot to note down your name. And I don't know what breed it is, but I remember that the person whose dog this was said that they like pointing at English people or something, something like that. They like pointing at English people, but I don't know what breed it is. So if you do know the breed, let me know. Right, so if you're drawing along, okay, I'm going to try and give you some tips and stuff as we go. And if you are drawing along, don't forget to try to share your pictures in the comment section. You won't be able to do it now, but when this post is uploaded onto the page after we've ended the live, you should hopefully be able to add your comments. So if you do draw along, please share them because I love seeing your pictures. First things first, okay? You're going to need your landscape paper, okay? So if you've got your portrait paper, put that back in the drawer and you need to get your landscape paper out. I know that landscape paper isn't always as easy to find. Often when I go to the stationery shop, they haven't got landscape paper in, they've only got portrait paper in. And then they are able to get some landscape paper in a couple of days later, but it always costs more, apparently like supply chain issues or something like that. So you need your landscape paper, okay? So get your landscape paper out, let's go. Like, again, I'm just waffling on again, aren't I? It's just what I do. I don't know. It's not nerves, because why would I be nervous? But I just waffle on. So anyway, here we go. Right, so if you're drawing along, you got your landscape paper ready, you got your reference photo in front of you. Hopefully you can all see the reference photo. You're going to have to just sort of like look on your screens as we go. And what we're going to do, so first tip, here's my tip number 1, okay? We're going to start with the nose, okay? And what we're going to do is the nose is just a black blob on the page, okay? That's it. That's it, okay? Hopefully you can see that. And that's like a little, always start with the nose, always start with the nose. Because it's a little confidence boost, isn't it? Like, that's perfect, right? Look at it. It's like a perfect nose. And so now I've got a little bit of confidence. I've got my portrait off to a good start, and I feel kind of like it's relaxed me. I'm feeling like, yeah, I'm off to a good start with this, and I can now start with the rest of the portrait. So what I'm going to do from here is we're going to just take the top of the nose coming up like this, and then we're going to get into the head. And what you want to be doing is just keep glancing at the reference photo every now and then. Don't spend too much time looking at it, but you want to kind of just try and follow the outline. And we're going to come across now and just do the top of the head like this. It's coming up from the nose, all right, if you're drawing along. I'll try and take it slow so that you can join in if you are drawing at home. And then underneath, we're going to come along and we're going to do the mouth, which comes up like this. And then it drops back down like this. And what you want to do is you just want to stop halfway down your mouth, because we can see that we got that tongue sticking out there. Might be a pork chop, actually. No, we're going to call it a tongue. And then that tongue just comes down like that. And then we can finish off the rest of the bottom jaw like so. And then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to stick some little teeth in there as well, because again, it's like these little things like this that just will elevate your portrait into that sort of like ultra realistic style. Just thinking about the little touches, okay? So we've got the nose down, we've got the kind of snout and everything. Is it a snout? Dog snout? Don't know, but we've got the snout and that. I'm going to call it a snout. We've got the top of the head and the ear, and then we've got the tongue coming down here. And now the last thing that we need to do, just to finish off the head here, is we need to add the eyes in. So here's another big tip for you, okay? With the eyes, we can see in the reference photo here, you can only really see one eye in there, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to draw that eye in, okay? So we draw that eye in like that, all right? But all animals have two eyes, and everybody knows that, right? Animals have two eyes. And so when people are looking at your portrait, they're going to expect to see two eyes because they know that animals have two eyes and they expect you to know the same. And so when you've got a situation like this where you can only see one eye in the reference photo, you always draw the other eye in so people know that you know your animals, right? Because otherwise, I think what happens is they lose a little bit of respect for you as an artist. They think this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And then they maybe kind of like switch off. They don't bother looking at the rest of the portrait. So always draw two eyes in. Like, that's so important. And the other thing is what you want to do is you want to draw the eyes really close together. And the reason that you need to draw the eyes close together is because then when one person finds one eye, they can quickly find the other one and just go, yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about. He knows his animals. He knows his onions, right? If they're searching around for that second eye and they're spending time wondering if you know what you're doing, again, they might just switch off. So make sure that when they find one eye, they can quickly find the other, and then like, bam, they're in, they're committed to you. They believe in what you're doing as an artist, and they're going to continue to look at the rest of the portrait. So speaking of which, let's get into the rest of that portrait. So now we've got like, we're just going to kind of do the bottom of the jaw that comes around like that, and then the neck kind of comes down onto here like this. And then we've got the first leg. So we're kind of at this point here, right? And we're about now to tackle this first leg here. Now, here's another tip for you. It's another big tip for you, okay? When you're drawing the legs, okay, you need to try to keep the legs long, all right? And there's a reason why you need to keep the legs long, because it gives you thinking time, okay? Like, I'm coming down here like this now, and I've got loads of time just to think about this, right? Think about what I'm doing. And when I get to the bottom, I can turn around, and as I'm coming back up into the body, again, this is how much thinking time I've given myself. Look at all of that. Loads of time, not to panic, okay? I've given myself lots of time. When I get back up into the body, I can think about where I'm going to end up, and I know exactly where I need to be, okay? So give yourself that thinking time. Keep your legs nice and long, because like I say, by this sort of point now, I'm already starting to think, where do I need to be when I get up into the body? Am I going the right way? Is this long enough? But now, look, I've got all this time, and I can just come across like that. Absolutely perfect. Keep your legs nice and thin as well. It's another little tip. Keep your legs nice and thin, okay? And you want to keep your legs thin. Practical reason, it cuts down on your colouring in, right? And that is it's the most boring part of the whole process, of the pet portrait process, is colouring in. So if you keep your legs nice and long, keep them thin, and you've cut down on your colouring in time, okay? Your future self will thank you for that right now, okay? And then the last little thing that we want to do on the legs is you just want to draw a couple of little lines at the end of the foot like that for the claws. And again, it comes back to that thing of they're just those little touches that will elevate your portrait into that ultra realistic style. Now, another thing that I'm just going to point out to you here, because we're getting to it a little bit on the portrait, is in the reference photo, we can see that this dog has got a harness on here. Never draw accessories. Okay, you've seen me talk about this a lot on the Facebook page and that. Never draw accessories. It's a slippery slope, guys, okay? So, like, set your rules early, stick to them. If you start drawing accessories, if I was to draw this harness today on this portrait, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find myself drawing a chihuahua in a tracksuit, okay? And oh, well, you've drawn the harness, why didn't you draw the tracksuit? So then suddenly I draw the tracksuit in the chihuahua. And then before I know it, I've got a cockapoo sitting on a sofa. And then someone says, oh, well, you drew the tracksuit on the chihuahua and you drew the harness, so why didn't you draw the sofa? Because that's an integral part of my portrait. And then before you know it, you're drawing a whole lounge, you're drawing a 2-bedroom semi-detached bungalow, you're drawing a cul-de-sac in Reading. Like, you have to draw the line somewhere. It's a slippery slope. And I think that the easiest line to say is no accessories, okay? So forget this harness, okay? It's doing nothing but creating problems. So forget your harness, okay? And now we're going to come across and we're going to do this front leg, okay? So the front leg, the other front leg, kind of drops down like this, takes an angle like that, and then at the bottom, if you have a little look, it just kicks out, okay? Now, again, important thinking time on that kick out, because it's kind of like a slightly unusual, you don't expect it to do that. So again, just give yourself that little bit of thinking time as you come back in and across and up into the body, like so. Again, don't forget your little lines on the end of that for your claws, that little ultra realistic style. Now we're going to come across and we're going to do the back, okay? So we've done this leg here, okay, but I'm not going to jump straight into this leg here. I need to think about where this leg's starting, and the easiest way to do that is to come across the back, okay? Now, again, I don't want to bamboozle you with like fancy art speak, okay? I'm mindful that a lot of you aren't probably professionally trained artists, but the back here on the reference photo looks quite short, doesn't it? It doesn't look like the back is very long there. Now, I reckon this dog actually, if we look at the length of his legs and stuff, he's probably quite a big dog. And so his back is probably in real life longer than it looks in the reference photo, all right? And that's what us artists call perspex. Okay, perspex. And that's where like things that are maybe in the distance further away look a little bit smaller, things that are closer up look a little bit bigger. Like the perspex on the reference photo can kind of distort the way things look. And so when you've got a slightly unusual one like this, what you have to do is just kind of commit to it, because it will feel a little bit weird when you start it. You'll think that back should be longer than it, but just trust me, you just got to stick with it, okay? So the back comes almost off the top of this ear, actually, like this, but it's not very long, okay? It just sort of comes round like that and just drops down, okay? And it drops straight down into that back leg, if you have a little look. So this back leg comes down and it's crossing over. So this is crossing over here. So when you get to that, you kind of just stop and then just start again like that. And again, it just sort of flips round a little bit at the end. Try to keep your lines nice and thin and tight so that you're cutting down on that colouring in, and then it just sort of comes up like this. Now again, we've got the harness here, so we can't see really what's going on, but I'm just going to kind of use my animal knowledge and say what his belly is going to come underneath there like that. And then the last thing that we've got to do is just to do this other leg, this back leg that kind of comes and just sort of kicks down like so, bit like that, and it kind of just disappears off behind this leg here, so we don't really have to worry about what it does beyond there. Again, don't forget your little lines. I've nearly forgotten my little lines on the end of that one. And then we've just got a little tail that just flicks out at the back there like so. So if you've been drawing along, you've hopefully got something that looks a little bit like that. And then the last thing that you need to do is that you'll see artists, again, kind of like mainly people that like paint on the street and stuff, and they're just showing off. That's what they're doing. They're showing off. But they do all like this. I don't know if they do all like this sort of stuff, and like, you know, all that kind of like things. You'll see them doing it, you know, like down at St Ives on the beach or whatever, and they're drawing they do all this. And what they're doing is that they're just kind of basically pointing at their work, and they're just making sure that they've got everything in, okay? So what you want to do is you just want to go, we've got the nose in, and we've got the tongue in, and we've got 1 and 2 eyes in, I've got an ear in, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 legs, okay? Perfect. So there we go, right? We've got the outline in there, and then we get into the colouring in. And those of you who've watched my lives before will know I hate the colouring in. I really don't like it, like at all. It's probably the most boring part of the whole process, but we'll get on and do it. I'm going to start, I've set out the colours that I need already. So we're just going to start quickly with some pink on the tongue. So we'll just get the tongue coloured in with the pink. And again, what you want to do is, for again, just a little kind of tip here for the ultra realistic style, when you've kind of finished just colouring in your tongue pink like that, just press a little bit harder and draw a line down the middle of it like that. And again, it just kind of like gives it that like kind of like slightly ultra realistic style. And then the next colour that we've got is that we've got this kind of goldeny colour. This is how many portraits I draw that use this colour. Look, it's like, there's my pink, right? And there's this. So we've got this kind of goldeny colour here. And again, anybody that has watched my lives before will know that I call this colour 2005 suntan. And anybody who went out clubbing in the UK in around about kind of like 2004, 2005 will know exactly what I mean. And because all the girls in the nightclubs in England had this kind of like really sort of like fake tanny colour to it. Smelt of biscuits, weirdly. So I call this the 2005 suntan. So you want to get your kind of like brown, and basically again what you want to be doing is just looking at the reference photo and just kind of following the marks and the colorings that you can see on the reference photo. Don't overthink it too much, because like I say, the coloring in is the most boring part, and it is kind of the bit you just kind of want to get over and done with quickly, really. If you want to kind of do a little bit of shading in it, again, all you've got to do is just press a little bit harder on the darker bits. So look, you can see on this ear there, because that's a bit darker, just press a bit harder. That's all you need to do. Doesn't really apply to this particular dog because he's a short-haired breed. But if you've got like a dog which has kind of got longer hair, then you basically just need to kind of scribble a bit. So when you're doing the fur, just kind of scribble a bit, and it kind of gives that like kind of texture of the fur that you can feel like you can almost stroke, but you can't because it's just a picture. Right, so then I'm just going to do this little bit on the back here like this. He's got a little bit down there, and then he's got like, there's like a little kind of standalone blob there like that, and then there's this bit that sort of comes across the back. And again, I'm going to have to guess at that a little bit because the harness is in the way, but you know, I think most people when they get their pet portraits, they just want to feel like you've made an effort, you know, right? So that's all you need to do, just show like you've tried hard. And you know, I reckon that's what most people are happy with. So I reckon that's kind of like the colouring like that. And then the last bit that we've got to do is the white. Now, a lot of people, again, you know, people that aren't artists and things, maybe feel as though you don't need to use a white pencil if you're using white paper. Being honest, there is an awful lot of truth in that, but I like to use my white pencil every now and then because it kind of doesn't really get used all that often. And I call my white evening guests at a wedding. And the reason I call it evening guests at the wedding is because it kind of comes in at the end, doesn't really do that much. You're not really sure if it adds anything to the occasion, if all truth be told, but you know, kind of nice to have it there, right? You know, nice to have just thought about them. So you want to use your white evening guests at a wedding, and again, you won't really see it, it won't really do much, but just give it a break, you know, just so you get your white down like this. Again, you can really scribble on this. I don't know if you can hear this. I'll stop talking, but listen to this, right? When I was doing a live once and I was scribbling like this, somebody said that my pencil sounds like a panting dog. Ready? It does, doesn't it? Is it like a It's like Nala sitting next to me after she's just been running around in the park with her ball. All right, anyway, get this white down like this. Again, if you miss bits with the white, it doesn't really matter because you can't really see it. But go down, do all the legs. Again, if you go over the lines with the white, it doesn't really matter. If you've got colour in the legs and you go over the lines, don't worry about it. Like if you've kept them as thin as you should have done, no one's going to expect you to stay within the lines. So don't worry about staying inside the lines too much. Again, just, you know, make it look like you've tried. So we've got the white on like that. And then the last little thing that we're going to do is the black. And I'm just going to colour in like the inside of the mouth with the black, so it looks like there's a bit sort of shadowing. And again, I don't know whether you're close enough to the reference photo, but he's got like a little sort of bit of black under the nose like this. And again, it would be so easy for me to just look at it already and go, the portrait's perfect, wouldn't it? Like, it would be so easy for me to just do that. But I think it's just making that little bit of extra effort and putting in those little touches that most people probably wouldn't bother with. That's what kind of just gives it like that's, you know, that ultra realistic style. And then we've got like there's kind of like a few little like black bits on the legs. Again, you probably can't see them on the screen here, but there's a few little black bits on the legs. So just don't overthink it. Just put a few little marks on the legs coming down like so. And then we're kind of like nearly done really. And then the last thing that we need to do is to sign it, okay? And I always say, if you've drawn along at home, sign your name, not mine. And if you can, use a fake name because you don't want anyone to find you. So I'm just going to sign it there, Hercule van Wolfwinkle. And there we go. So it's done. Like, that's it. Like, no more to say really. I'll move the reference photo a little bit closer there. So there's the reference photo, okay, that we can see there, all right? And then I'll move it away, and there's the portrait. I'll just hold that up a little bit so you can see that. The light's not great, I'm afraid, today. Hopefully you can see that all right. But there's the portrait there, and there's the reference photo there. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're all wondering how I've been able to produce that masterpiece in such a short amount of time whilst also talking to you. And I mean, the only thing I can say to you is just practice and natural talent. I mean, that is literally it. But there we go. So the reference photo and the portrait there underneath. Right, I'm going to turn you back round again. So I'll leave that up for just a couple more minutes because I'm sure a lot of you are really just like taking that in. It's like sort of staring at the Moaning Lisa for the very first time for a lot of you, I would imagine. So there we go. Right, I'm going to turn you back round again. There we go, we're back. Hooray! So what did you think of that then, anybody that drew along? Hopefully yours looks decent enough. Don't be discouraged if it doesn't look as good as mine. You know, don't be discouraged if it doesn't look as good. But hopefully you've ended up with something that maybe just looks a little bit like that. Whoever's dog it is, joking aside, I'm really sorry. You know, hopefully we will have a little bit of fun. So yeah, there we go. We've done a portrait. I've reminded you all about the Street Vet fundraising tour. If you didn't catch that at the beginning and you've just checked in, please go and check out my page. Facebook is rubbish at the moment for showing you my posts, okay? All of my posts do not appear on your newsfeed. That's just a fact, all right? So you need to treat Facebook like a website. Don't go on and just rely on what's on your newsfeed. Search me out every day and go and check out what I'm up to because I post nearly every day. So if you don't see posts from me every day, you're missing stuff. And Facebook further restricts anything that looks like it's promoting something. And for me, most of the time, that is my charity fundraising. And so it's so frustrating when we put so much work into organising these things and then no one sees it. I think the post that we did to announce the fundraising tour has so far been seen by 36,000 people, which sounds like a lot of people, but it's less than 10% of the people that follow me. And that's really frustrating. So go and check it out. If you can, comment on it, like it, share it, engage with it. That helps to kind of boost these things up the algorithm, because I want as many people to find out about this latest fundraising tour as possible. So yeah, go and check that out. And also, great way to avoid algorithms is sign up to my mailing list. So if you go onto my website, www.herculevanwolfwinkle.co.uk, you can sign up to my mailing list. It's completely free of charge. I try not to bug you too much, but that's a great way of hearing about all the important stuff without relying on algorithms. And you also get to see all of my kind of non-pet portrait art there as well, because I do lots of other art which isn't pet portraits, which is how I attempt to fund this project, to keep it going, to allow myself to draw your pet portraits for free, and all of that kind of stuff is shared on my mailing list. So if you want to go and check all that out as well, that would be really cool. So has anyone got any questions? I don't want to sit here forever if nobody does, but if anybody's got any questions, stick them in the comments. I'll try and see what I can, and I'll try and answer what I can. Yeah, I'll wait a couple of minutes and see if anything comes through, but if not, we can call it a night and all go and watch EastEnders or whatever's on.
Someone asked if they can see you when you do the O2.
Someone's asked if they can come and see me when I'm at the O2. Short answer is yes, I think you can. So I think at the O2, you definitely can come and see me. The slightly longer answer is if you go onto the fundraising page, like I say, we've got a designated page for the fundraising tour. If you go onto the fundraising page, there's an email on there that you can email to find out what's going on near you, and whether it's stuff that you can come along to. Problem I've got is I don't know what all the challenges are, so I don't know whether all of the stuff is stuff that people can come along to. This isn't really a tour that has been, whilst I want to see as many of you as possible, and it'd be great to see as many of you as possible, the tour hasn't been organised in a way where the sole purpose is getting out to see people. The purpose of the tour is to come and visit all the outreach locations and do these fundraising challenges. But I've heard a lot of comments from people that are saying they're hoping to come and see me. And so, I don't know, if we don't get the chance to do that on this tour, maybe we'll think about doing something else at some point as well. So I can come out to see a lot of you as well. But yeah, email on the fundraising page and they'll be able to tell you what's going on and whether you can come along. So, for instance, somebody said, can they come and join me in Norwich? Again, I don't think that's going to be possible because Norwich is the skydive. So I don't think the airfield is going to allow to have like lots of the general public turning up. But I don't know. So ping them an email and find out, and we'll do our best to answer you, because it would be lovely to see you if we can. Somebody has said, will I ever start drawing people? I get into enough bother drawing people's pets. No, I have drawn a few people, but it's not really what I like to do. I like drawing pets. They're a lot more fun. Animals are better than humans, right? We all know that. So I'll stick to pets for now.
Where's your name come from?
What somebody has said, are you going to post videos of the challenges? Absolutely. So we are going to be bombarding Facebook with updates on the challenges. So there's going to be Facebook Lives, there's going to be videos, there's going to be hopefully a daily recap of everything we've been up to that day, because on some days we're visiting 3 different locations in one day and doing 3 challenges a day. So we're going to hopefully have like daily recaps. We're going to have lots of Facebook Lives, loads of posts to try to keep you all updated, because ultimately the really kind of honest answer is there's no point in me going out and doing all of this if you guys don't hear about it, right? So we're absolutely going to make sure that you all hear about it, and hopefully, as I say, you're all going to be able to encourage me to keep going with donations and things like that as well. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled, because it's going to be wall-to-wall fundraising challenges and me out on the road, hopefully causing a bit of mischief. So yeah.
The dog you drew is Jaffa, and it's Philip Bull.
Okay, I've just been told by Mrs. Wolfwinkle that the dog I drew was Jaffa and it's Philip Bull. Somebody has asked, when did I start drawing? So basically, it was Christmas 1991. right? Christmas 1991 was when I had my first little brush with drawing and having an interest in drawing. I'd spent months leading up to that Christmas telling everybody I wanted to be an architect when I grew up. That's what I want to be. I want to be an architect when I grow up. So much so that Christmas, I ripped open the wrapping paper on my main present from my mum and dad, and there staring back at me was a Junior Draftsman set. You know, like all the like architectural paper scale rulers, precision pencils and all that kind of stuff. And I was looking at this Junior Draftsman set, right? And that was the first moment I ever had any interest in drawing. It was also the moment I realised I didn't want to be an architect when I grew up. I wanted to be an archaeologist. Not an architect, an archaeologist. I've just got my words muddled up, right? And you'd have think that my mum and dad would have known I got my words muddled up because I spent my whole time running around dressed as Indiana Jones, you know, that world famous archaeologist. But I don't know, maybe they just thought I wanted to remodel the Temple of Doom or something. But so that was my first little brush with being interested in drawing. And then I didn't have any other interest in drawing at all. Didn't do art at school, didn't do it at GCSEs. It was never a hobby of mine. I never did anything. I mean, I've said in interviews before, people have said, I say like, I've never drawn in my life, and people go, oh, I bet you have, because everybody's drawn something in their lives. And yeah, like I used to draw when I was like at primary school, and I used to sort of like draw, you know, kind of on the back of an envelope and that when I'm on hold for my electric company, but never drawn properly. And then in the summer of 2020, when just drawing at home with my son, I drew a picture of our dog, Nala. It was rubbish. And so I shared it on Facebook with a jokey comment about pet portraits being for sale. And the rest, they say, is history. So yeah, up until 2020, never really drawn in my life. And then since then, I've drawn around about 2,000 portraits and do it all the time now. So yeah, been a lot of fun.
Where did your name come from?
Someone has asked, where did my name come from? Hercule Van Wolfwinkel, there's an irony to this, right? Because Hercule Van Wolfwinkel was my Facebook name before all of this art stuff happened. And what it was is I'd been on Facebook, like loads of people had 300 odd friends, and none of them, well, very few of them would have talked to me in the pub if I'd have walked in, you know, like, didn't know them, but they follow me on Facebook, and, you know, they kind of like look at pictures of you on holiday with your top off and that. It's all a bit weird, isn't it? So, I came off Facebook, because I wasn't really enjoying it. And then when I came off Facebook, I realised the bits of Facebook that I did enjoy, which was like, keeping up to date with my family that don't live locally and keeping up to date with my friends who live in Australia and stuff. So basically I came back onto Facebook with a fake name because I didn't want anyone to find me. And so I came up with this name, Hercule Van Wolfwinkel. And God knows where it came from. It just shows what happens when you leave me unattended with my thoughts for about 5 minutes. But Hercule Van Wolfwinkel was born because I didn't want anyone to find me. And then the irony is that's how I'm now known by literally 500,000 people. Yeah, but where it actually came from, I've got no idea. Someone's asked if I'd ever considered drawing dinosaurs. I've drawn dinosaurs before. So I actually drew a roller skating dinosaur playing a keyboard. And I did that around about 2 years ago now for a family up in the northeast of England who were raising money for a hospital in Newcastle who had cared for their little boy who had sadly passed away, and the hospital had been brilliant, and they were raising money for the hospital, primarily to buy art supplies, and they asked me if I would get involved. And so I drew a picture of a dinosaur, and we sold a limited edition print of it, and we sold the original, and we raised I can't remember how much it was now, I think a couple of £1,000 for them and their fundraising, and it was an absolute pleasure to be involved in it. They were a lovely family, and it's on my website somewhere if you want to go and check it out. It is there somewhere. I'm losing people. I don't know whether people are getting bored, so I think what I'm going to do is call it a day, I think. But it has been lovely to see you all. people are saying that they've lost me now and I'm frozen as well. So maybe you've lost me as well. But it's been lovely to see you all. Thanks for coming and joining me for the last 45 minutes. I hope you had fun drawing along. And if you would like to post your pictures of your portraits that you've drawn, if you've drawn along, if you want to post your pictures in the comments section, you should hopefully be able to do this when the live ends and it goes back on to the page. But guys, thanks so much for checking in. It's been lovely to see you. As ever, thanks so much for your continued support for what we're trying to do. Please go and check out that post about the fundraiser. Please go and check that out and share it far and wide, because I want as many people to hear about that as possible. And I'll be back with some pet portraits fairly soon, hopefully. I'm going away for a couple of days over the weekend, for the bank holiday weekend. I'm not actually going away in case any burglars are watching. I'm still going to be at home. I'm not really. I am going away. But so there might not be some portraits for the next couple of days, but I'll be back really soon. And in the meantime, like I say, go and check out that Facebook post about the fundraising, because you definitely want to see it, and we want to raise loads of money for Street Vet. So thanks, guys. Love you all lots, and I'll see you soon. I never know how to end these things, so you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up.